Well, hello there, Aries. How are you? It is always so good to see you. I'm Mary Sue, and I'm so grateful that you're here. So, today we're just going to check in with Spirit and see what is on the horizon for you. So, let's get started. Let's see what we have. Dear Spirit, bring a gentle touch, distant thunder, clear the air, and abundance. Lovely. Okay, so Aries, there's the energy, the distant thunder is the energy of understanding there's something that you need to clear out of your life. And today is the full moon in Capricorn. So it can be people, it can be situations that are draining to us, but it can also be it says clear the air. And I feel like it's your mindset around something that you're you're holding yourself back. You're actually holding yourself hostage in this castle here, okay? Because there's a different direction you're meant to go in, but your fear of perhaps abundance or lack thereof is preventing you from following what your heart truly desires. And it's not about pushing yourself, because I have Aries moon, right? So sometimes we as Aries, we can push ourselves to the point where we're not listening to what our body needs or to our emotional state, right? We just push through it because we got to get through this. But there's something here about listening to your own emotions, being gentle and kind with yourself, because I feel like you're making a big change, but you're trying to, this is almost like the energy of, say you wanted to transform your physique, right? And you hired a personal trainer, and the personal trainer was, as somebody that was really, regimented and just told you this is what you can eat, this is what you can't eat, you need to be here at the gym at 6 a.m, we're going to do this, and and you show up at the gym, and you're following the eating plan or whatever, but you're tired because the night before your child was sick or whatever, and the personal coach says, I don't want to hear those excuses, hit the treadmill, drop and give me 20. Right? It's kind of like allowing yourself to recognize that when we're trying to make some changes in our life, there is a little bit of having to be accountable. Saturn is in your sign right now, right? Be accountable for our actions, but it's not just about the actions. It's also about listening to our body or listening to our emotions, listening to our heart. Are you pushing yourself too hard? Yeah, because I feel as though part of it is that you're draining your own energy. Because you're here, you're kind of like pushing, right? Pushing. And I don't think it's just about the pushing. It's about what you're saying to yourself as you're trying to push yourself through something. Okay. So I'll give you an example. I've been doing a lot of work in my backyard lately. And sometimes I get into the energy of I'm tired, right? I don't want to do anymore, right? My body aches, and it is July and I'm hot and I don't want to work in my yard I mean, I do. I want to work in my yard, but at the same time, my body is kind of like giving out. And then I can be at times kind of abrupt with myself. My Aries moon comes out, right? And it's kind of like, what? Are you going to quit now? Oh, are you just a quitter? What are you going to do? Just go inside and sit in the air conditioning? It's kind of like, almost like that emperor, that military type of energy, right? It's kind of like beating myself up. instead of being gentle with myself and saying, well, maybe I need to go inside and drink some water and sit in the cool air for a minute, right? Maybe I need to say, I've done enough today. I'll come and work on it again tomorrow, or I'll work on it later in the evening when it's cooler again. I feel like there's something here where you could be like almost all or nothing. I'm giving it my all, or I'm backing away from it. And it could be in any type of a situation. It could be a relationship, it could be a career, it could be a project that you're starting. It's almost like it's all or nothing. It's kind of like, the way I can see how I've been kind of like talking to myself, right? And it's just causing all of this chaos in your mind. It's about clearing that out, allowing yourself to be more listening to your body and being more listening to your own emotions. I think whatever this is, you're being a little bit hard on yourself, Aries, and asking yourself, what is the fear behind it, right? What is the fear behind that? Yeah, because it's leading you to your Nine of Cups. You feel as though this is all fear-based, right? And so we can talk to ourselves or to others. I think this is really something with yourself, allowing yourself to recognize maybe the way that you're talking to yourself. And you may, it's kind of like, I feel like I'm a person, I kind of enjoy having a deadline. It helps me to make a schedule because I don't want to let anybody down, right? If I have a deadline, I want to meet the deadline. But it's also about recognizing, where are you allowing yourself to burn out? This is the energy, burn out, because you're just almost like doing too much. And it's not just that you're doing too much, it's the way that you're talking to yourself. Because it's about asking yourself, right? It's kind of like the other day I caught myself when I was kind of beating myself up about, it's hot and I want to go inside. And I start working in my garden like 6:30 in the morning, right? I love working in my garden, but it has been extremely hot lately where I live. And recognizing that, if I work in my garden from like 6:30, by like 8:30, it's really super hot, especially in my backyard. So instead of trying to beat myself up in order to continue working, instead taking a moment and enjoying what I have already created, enjoying, right, the morning instead of working so hard, actually sitting there in my garden and enjoying it, right? It's about how can you turn this around a little bit, or envisioning what it's going to look like when it's finished. Allowing yourself to get into the loving nature instead of perhaps, just kind of like having more talk with yourself that is a little bit more regimented, doing it in a more loving way. Asking yourself, right? How can you mother yourself? How can you tenderly encourage yourself to keep going instead of beating yourself up for not moving faster or whatever it is? Allowing yourself to consider that you are your own 5-year-old self. How would you want, perhaps when you were a child, right? And that you weren't doing your chores or your homework fast enough, right? Maybe you were being, scolded. So now you have the mentality of, if I'm not doing this fast enough, right? Or I have to keep my nose down and get my work done. I can't sit here and stop and enjoy the flowers in my garden. I have to just keep on working, right? Allowing yourself to say, maybe that's something that you learned as a child, but is that the way you want to parent and nurture yourself. Allowing yourself to recognize you can do it in a different way. Yeah, because I feel like you have this opportunity to decide to it's really nurturing yourself, right? Bring a gentle touch, nurturing yourself in a different way. That's different than maybe the way that you have grown up, or the way, you could have a boss right now that's like that, or you could have some neighbors or whatever. Allowing yourself to recognize, is that how I want to treat myself? Is that how I want to be treated? Because I feel like you do. You have a commitment coming up. Okay, Two of Cups, new life, commitment. There's a relationship that is on the horizon. a beautiful relationship. You also have the Ten of Cups on the bottom. But it's about allowing yourself to treat yourself the way that you would like for a romantic partner or a good friend, or this can sometimes be a business partner, but it's about treating yourself the way you would want others to treat you. But it's also about recognizing, have you allowed people to treat you in a certain way just because that's the way you grew up, or the way that you were told it was supposed to be? Allowing yourself to say, maybe I want to change the way that I treat myself, or talk. It's really about, I feel like, talking to yourself or talking to others. Allowing yourself to change that. Yeah, I feel like this is something that you were taught. Tradition with the Hierophant. Taught. It's very confusing. Okay, you could be like, you could have grown up in a family where, you could have had a sibling, and maybe your parents talked or nurtured that sibling or other siblings, right, in a different way than you were nurtured. And that could have something to do with a part of your personality that was just different, okay, than the rest of your family. So for instance, maybe everybody else in your family had a calm nature about themselves, and you were more, outgoing, very active. And then you were scolded because you were so active, right? And, Aries, why can't you just sit down? Why can't you be like your other siblings or whatever? It could have happened at school, right? Understanding that what I feel like was considered by others when you were young as something that was not acceptable, for whatever reason, okay? You're now coming into understanding that is a strength. Wow. So it's about rethinking how you talk to yourself, because what you're understanding, you have the Strength card here. You're understanding that whatever was pointed out to you as a detriment, right, or you were criticized for as a child, or even in past romantic relationships, all of a sudden you're understanding that is your own uniqueness. And why would we ever want to change our own uniqueness, right? It's about being kind and gentle to yourself. It's not about trying to change it. It's about embracing and loving your own uniqueness. And it literally takes you into this completely different energy when you recognize, it's kind of like, I'm a retired teacher. I had a principal once that was an amazing leader. And she really and truly wanted the teachers to be who they really were, okay? Because she recognized that there were, she would put different personalities, different teachers, okay, on a team, because she also recognized that students, right, can learn better depending on the personality of the teacher. So some classrooms, right, are calm and peaceful, and children that like calm and peaceful, okay, they would go into that classroom. And then you'd always have the teacher that, is rocking and rolling all day long. Okay, I could not personally be in a classroom where it was rocking and rolling all day long. I can take small bits of that, right? And it's like understanding, though, that some children like that. They like it where they can move around, or they, can do more things, where other children like it more quiet and subtle. This is you understanding, right? That it's kind of like recognizing, like that principal did, that every teacher has a strength, and it's matching a student with the teacher, right? That'll get the most progress, right? For that student, where they'll feel mostly engaged. This is you understanding that maybe you have been around people your whole life that didn't want to accept your strength, your uniqueness. Instead, they tried to change it. And you're stepping back and saying, no, wait a minute. I'm committing to me. I'm committing to who I am and my uniqueness. I'm no longer like talking bad to myself about my own strength. It's like when I was working out in the yard, right? It turned around for me when I stopped one day and I looked at my yard and I was like, oh my gosh, because I love flowers. My backyard is beautiful, right? Because I love the butterflies and the birds and the bees and everything else, the dragonflies, the frogs, everything coming into my yard. I love it. And so I create it for me, I create it for them, right? But understanding that when I embrace it from that standpoint of loving what I am creating, I truly enjoy working out in the yard, even when it is really hot and I'm sweating, right? It's about the way that we see ourselves. It's about accepting who we are and knowing that, yes, some days I can work out in the yard all day long, even if it's 95 degrees, because I'm in it. I'm in it that day. But other days I may not have that energy. Other days it's not the same. So that's okay. I'll be more gentle with myself on those days. Right? Allowing yourself to recognize every day maybe isn't the same. Maybe that personal trainer that's very regimented, right? There's good parts about that, right? But there's also understanding. Some days you're going to walk in and you're just not going to be feeling it. And if you're not feeling it, you're still better off to do a workout, but maybe you're not working out at this level, right? Maybe you're doing 80%. But hey, you're showing up. Hey, you're still on track. Hey, you're putting the effort in, right? Allowing yourself to recognize that every day can't be, maybe every day can't be 100%, but you're still giving your 100% for that day, for who you are that day. You're still showing up for yourself. You're giving 100% of what you have at that time. Wow, that's a totally different viewpoint, right? Than lamenting because you're not doing what you did yesterday, right? You're not doing as much. I'm gonna go sit with that, Aries. That's really resonating with me. All right, let's pull a soul truth card for you for some final advice. And I do personal readings, so if you're interested, the link is in the description box below. I'd really be honored to do a reading for you. What do I resist feeling right now? I feel like that is this whole thing with the deer, right? It's kind of like, I'm not going to the feelings. I'm just pushing through. But there is something, the feelings are coming up for a reason. It's not about downplaying your feelings. It's not about denying your feelings. It's about allowing the feelings to come up, right? And then to allow yourself to release them, right? But it's kind of like allowing yourself to feel the feelings. We have to feel it to heal it. In order to let go of pain, we first have to honor its existence. Emotions are like waves. Some are soft, some are fierce, some are layered, and some will sweep you off your feet. When we allow ourselves to feel it all, we can then release what no longer serves us. Yeah. Don't deny your feelings. Allow those feelings to come up. Be gentle with yourself, right? You can tell the feelings are here, but it's about not pushing through it, right? I'm a Gemini sun, and Gemini's and Aries. We both have that energy of just pulling up our bootstraps. I'm moving on, not going to deal with those emotions. But it is also about recognizing, where did you learn that? What, where did you learn that it's not okay to cry, or it's not okay to be sad, that it's just push through it? Be that personal trainer that says, I don't want to hear the excuses, just do it. Allow yourself a gentle touch. All right, Aries, I'm going to leave it there. Please be kind and gentle with yourself, especially as these emotions can be coming up, especially today with the full moon in Capricorn. So, and that will be sticking with us for the next 2 or 3 days. So this could be an intensely emotional time for you, allowing yourself to let yourself feel the feelings so that you can heal and release them. All right, I'm going to leave it there. Much love and light. Thank you so much for all your support by liking, commenting, and subscribing. And I hope to see you again really soon. Bye for now.